All right, just about 2 o'clock. I guess we can begin. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this ninZaCode's presentation of Liberty Edge, which is actually two indicators we're going to be talking about today. One is highway fractal zones, which offers dynamic support resistance and turning points. And the other one is rapid shape ordering, which is an interesting way of entering trades very quickly, having your target and your stop, everything set up instantaneously, saves time, and in these fast markets could be very important. In any case, let's before we begin, just quick introduction. That's not me. That's not me either. This is me. My name is James Buchman. I've been trading for a while. This is my email. I have a Discord server. I have a trading room where this actually is the next one. Here we go. Where I share my trading plan with the traders every single day. We know exactly what to look for. Today, out of the gate, we were long on the NASDAQ at 920, 29,920. We got over 100 points on that trade. Before the room closed, they said if the S&P hits 77.56, it was a target for us, 77.56, it should hold and bounce. And this is exactly what happened. And we do this every single day. So without further ado, let's begin. And I'm really kind of anxious to show you charts instead of a slideshow. We can do both. We can do both. So maybe kind of a quick, what are fractals? What are we talking about? What is a fractal zone? Um, Bill Williams introduced the idea of fractals into technical analysis. I forgot the name of the mathematician who actually created the theory, something Mandelbrot or something like that. But there was a whole theory that goes into this. In a nutshell, for our purposes, right? Because who cares about theories? For our purposes, in an uptrend, we expect price to pull back and then reverse somewhere to continue the trend up. In a downtrend, we expect price to come up, retrace up, turn, and again continue lower in the downtrend. Those areas with those, in the case of a long, a decline happens to and then reverses to continue up. That's the fractal zone. This is the place where we expect price to come in. Uh, ninZaCo made it really nice. Within the zone, they're actually Fibonacci retracements. And then we expect price to go, or in a downtrend, right? Price breaks below, retraces into the fractal zone. These are painted ahead of time. And then there is a signal, to continue down upon confirmation. So that's kind of a very quick description of what is a fractal zone. I really want to show it to you on the chart though, because imagining it is one thing. How about actually seeing it? I'm sure it's a lot more fun. So assuming I can find it, and I should be able to find it. Okay, 1 minute. Let me see here. Okay, let me find it in Zoom now. This way I can actually talk about. Yes. Okay. So this is from this morning, not cherry picking ever. It's always the present day, whatever day I do the webinar on. So this is the open. And the idea is we have an uptrend. We expect a retracement into a fractal zone and then a continuation higher. So this is a 1 minute chart. I use a 1 minute chart just for the bigger picture idea. We will be looking at ninZaRenkos, but those are much smaller, moving very fast. And of course, we will be using rapid shape ordering to help us, which I hope I'll be able to do. I think I should be able to. So this is in the case of an uptrend. What you see here is an extreme. In other words, price came up from this fractal zone and hit an extreme price to the upside. What this often means is that there should be a retracement. Again, there was a retracement into another fractal zone, still bullish, still bullish. We do have higher highs. So, and then again, a signal long as it comes out of this zone for another move higher. Later on this morning, there was a pullback. This created some lower lows, I'm sorry, lower highs and lower lows, then a retracement into, again, this fractal zone. But this time, the expectation is price should reverse from this zone and go lower. And that's exactly what happened. So this is your fractal map, so to speak. And again, these are created ahead of time. You'll be able to see it in ninZaFamily because it moves a lot faster. So these zones are created ahead of time, and you know exactly, you know where, what, not exactly, but you should have an idea where price should turn because it should turn within this zone. Um, Now, ideally, if it's a really strong trend, price doesn't really go too deep into the zone. In this case, for example, it was a pretty deep spike into this bullish zone. Price came out. This is a lot cleaner when price just is barely able to get into this bearish fractal zone and immediately comes out and just sells off. So again, these zones that they're ahead of time, they tell you, first of all, they tell you where the bias is, right? If it's a blue zone, the bias is to the upside. If this is a pinkish, I guess, zone, then the bias is to the downside. So upside blue, downside pink. One second, I lost something here. Here we go. Nope. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So right. So that's just the fractal map. So now let me look into. Let me find it. So it's Renko. All right. So this is the ninZaFamily, and this obviously moves a lot faster. Also, of course, as with anything in trading, I'm sure you guys know, the smaller the time frame, the less accurate, right? Larger time frames always rule, always. They are in charge. So what you might want to do is you might want to kind of take a peek at maybe some kind of a higher time frame, 1 minute or 5 minutes, just to get an idea what is going on, and then align the signals you see on ninZaFamily with the higher time frame. I mean, that's always a good idea. But you see, even on these ninZaFamily very small time frame, it still follows the same concept. A downtrend, price goes into a fractal zone, sells off, goes into a bullish fractal zone. You have at least a scalp over here. This was no good. Here is the extreme price. And then, of course, we sell off, and this is where we are right now. Now comes the tricky part. Now comes the tricky part. So this, of course, very self-explanatory, very simple. Now, what is rapid shape ordering? So this is an interesting um, ordering tool. What it does is it immediately puts on the chart your either limit order or market order or some kind of a stop order, along with a target and a stop. So the target and the stop are based on ATR. So the default is 2 to 1. By the way, also with the fractals, I did not change anything in the parameters. The settings are what they are out of the box. I did not change anything. And of course, you can get much better results if you sit down, take some time, and depending on the time frame you choose to figure out, kind of what quote works better. But I did not change anything for the purpose of this demonstration as is. So same with the rapid shape ordering. The default is 2 to 1 risk reward, right? Um, Twice the reward for one of risk. And when you choose a shape and you place it and your order is triggered, there is a target and a stop based on ATR. So 2 to 1, but based on ATR. So it's not just, random number of ticks. It's a bit more scientific, where it's based on the range that the market has. So that's what it does, the average true range. Now, first of all, let's because now I'm not the best at this stuff, but I will give this a shot. So basically, first of all, you see how I move the price over, because as we are drawing our shapes, the duration of the order depends on where it is in relation to price. What I'm saying is, if my rectangle ends right here, right where the price is, and I am not filled, the order is canceled. Okay, so how far beyond the current price you go would determine the duration of your signal. So I don't, okay, so I picked what? I picked sell. So this is, pink is sell, blue is buy, right? So this is going to be a sell order. So let's try and have some fun. Okay, so this is a sell order. Only if price comes down and hits the bottom of this rectangle, which it doesn't look like it wants to do. But if that's what happens, I'm going to get triggered into a short trade. My target and my stop, right? And it's going to be adjusted based on ATR. It's going to be done automatically. Now, I should probably be looking, if anything, for a long, if price comes into this fractal zone. So here is what I can do. See this? I can cancel the order, but then I can also erase the shape. So once I press here, I erase the shape and nothing happens. So let's try and get a buy triangle, maybe, I'm sorry, a rectangle, kind of maybe like this. So if price comes down and hits, doesn't want to, but if it comes down and hits my limit order here, my buy limit order, I'm going to have a stop and a target if I did it right. Here we go. Hey, I did it right. So here is my target. Here is my stop. My stop should probably be below the zone. That would be the more appropriate way of doing it. But just to demonstrate, again, this is based on ATR, 2 to 1, right? Now I can close the position right from the tool. So at any point, if I want to close this position, or even cancel, I guess I should have canceled it from here. I can also close and cancel right from the tool itself. Okay, so let's do that so we can look at some other stuff. Canceling. Now, I canceled it. You see, I'm out, but the rectangle is still here. It's no longer active because I canceled, but it's still here. So I'm going to press this, and now I have a clear screen again. So let's go to the trickier one. I'm always having a problem with, and it's not because it's difficult, it's because it's me. I'm just, I just could not exactly. All right, let's try and figure this out. So here is my triangle. Uh, Maybe like this. Okay. So so if price comes down, so with a triangle, I actually decide where my profit and my stop is, like that. See that? Because I created these angles based on this, automatically I have a target and I have a stop. I don't need to mess around with ATM. I don't need to change things as the market is moving fast. It's simply done automatically for me. Very convenient, pretty much essential in fast moving markets. So this is the triangle, and I'm glad it worked out. And again, it would only be good. Now I did get filled, but if price continued beyond the triangle without any fill, the order would just be canceled. That's why you need to kind of move the chart over as you are drawing your objects. Okay. So let's how do I okay. Boom. How about the next one? Let's say another buy because we're still in this fractal zone. So how about maybe is this a line? I think this is the line. I'm missing it. Okay, hold on. Uh, missed it. So this was the fractal signal. So that price came into the fractal zone, gave a beautiful signal. I was taking too long and it left without me. So let's see if it can retrace. So this is just a line, but I think I messed it up. I might have messed it up. Okay, let's cancel and let's draw another one. This is just for demonstration purposes, of course. Maybe here. Boom. Okay. So again, based on ATR, I'm not saying you have to hold for all this. This is just based on ATR. You have your target, you have your stop. Of course, you can play around with this. You can, I guess you can't move it. I thought you could move it. No, you can't move it. Okay. So yep. So this is just a line. This is just a line. So you draw the line, you wait for the price to hit your order, and then your target and your stop are drawn automatically. Okay. So any questions on anything I did so far? Okay. Nothing. All right. So let's close this. So once again, I can come right here and I can close this order. The line is still here, but it's no longer active. I would press the button over here to just get rid of this line. But what you've seen here, this represents an extreme now. Okay, so very often when you see this, it could mean a decline down. This was like, in other words, if you are long from here, this was the fractal signal, right? You see this, you need to get out. You need to get out because chances are it will now retrace, kind of like we are seeing right now. All right, so just so you know, when you see a pink one from a long, get out of your long. If you see a blue one, can we find one here? If you find a blue one, if you see a blue one from like this one, okay? Like here is a short, here is the blue. That's when you want to get out of your short, right over here. Just get out. When you see this, because chances are there's going to be a retracement up. Okay. All right. You see this? Now this is no longer the fractal zone. This one is done, but you see how effective it is from this long. You see this pink, you need to get out. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the slideshow. Slideshow. All right. So I tried to cover as much as I could, really, because this is something I think you needed to see on the chart as opposed to just so this is the theory, the idea of a fractal theory. Basically, if you have a low surrounded by higher lows, okay, this just creates that's bullish. If you have a lower low surrounded on the left and right by higher lows, you go up. If you have a high surrounded by lower highs, that's actually bearish, and you expect to move down. That's kind of a in a nutshell, the fractal theory. So we've seen this, right? We saw the fractal, again, bullish, move up. You see a pink dot over here. This means an extreme move. Get out of your long, because chances are there is going to be a retracement. This is the triangle that I drew. So again, the idea of a triangle, you always get filled from here. That's what took me a while to understand this. You always filled from this angle. This becomes the place where you are filled and then target and stop in the case of a long. Okay, so we went over that. Of course, you can also do it obviously on a time chart. And you can draw the rectangle. In case of a time chart, probably a rectangle is better. And then your target and your stops are going to be based on ATR and risk reward that you determine in the settings. So again, out of the box, default is 2 to 1, and I kept it at 2 to 1. It's just talking about the target and stop. This is the line. So we did the line as well. A line, just like a rectangle, would automatically find the ATR for the target and the stop. So in this case, I guess you're in a bearish fractal, so you expect a continuation move lower. You would use the triangle, price to come up, hit your order here, and then continue lower. Again, because ninZaCo created these Fibonacci retracements um, measures within a zone, you can kind of estimate where price could go to. Here you go. See that? It hit the triangle here. Here is the trade. Again, notice how you have to move prices to the left because um, if price surpasses the triangle without price getting hit, it would just cancel the order. Okay, so more rectangles, just on time bars, on time charts. Seen this, okay. These are the Fibonacci retracements within the zones I was talking about. So again, the idea with a bullish trend, price goes higher, price retraces into a fractal zone, turns around, and there is your long. Yeah, we've seen something similar here. This is the extreme, right? So again, in the case of a long, you see this pink dot, get out. Chances are there is going to be a retracement down. Okay, so with small time frames, of course, you're going to have a whole bunch different ones. Bullish, bullish, bearish. If you have any questions for me, you can reach me in my Discord. You can email me. And as long as it's trading related, I can probably answer it. So, all right. Yep. Thank you very much for attending, and I will see you guys next time. Hold on. Is there a question there? Something just popped. Hold on. Ranko bars from Ninja. Yes, the those are Ninja Ranko bars. Yes, yes. They actually, I believe they are free. The King Renko is the premium bar, but I think the Ninja Renko bars, um, those are free, I believe. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. See what something else? Na-na. A preferred. That becomes the question is there a preferred bar type for the fractal zones? I tell you, I really think it is very individual. Let me kind of share again the screen so I can explain this. So for me, right, for me, I always like to see the bigger picture. I always like to see as things are happening, what should I be looking for? Should I be looking long? Should I be looking short? The problem with smaller time frames is that, of course, every movement could be defined as a trend, right? But the fact is, uh, larger trends don't just change very quickly. So I always like to look either a 1 minute, a 2 minute, a 5 minute, not necessarily to trade those, but to at least understand where I am. Um, Again, I understand that higher time frames always rule, always. So before going to a smaller time frame, maybe to actually trade, I like to take a look at the bigger time frame and say, okay, where am I? Let's say we're opening, right? 9:30, we are opening. Where am I? What am I looking for? Should I be looking long? Should I be looking short? In this case, obviously looking long. Later on in the morning, right? All of a sudden, oh, wait a minute. Now we have, in this case, a bearish fractal zone. Price comes up. Well, now I'm looking short. Now I'm no longer interested in longs. Now I want to go short. So again, it's very individual. Um, for me, I prefer the higher time frames. It's very difficult for me personally to trade with like ninZaFamily bars because they just move too fast. Unless you can create, I mean, you can create a larger Renko bar, right? Instead of like, I think I had like a 16.5, but instead of a 16.5, make it like a 40.10 or something. And then sure, you're going to have a larger bar. Things are going to slow down. It will give you a better idea as to what's going on. But again, to answer your question, I guess in a very long way, to answer your question, it's very individual. You need to decide for yourself what are you more comfortable with. It will be, because we all have different personalities, and so it's not a question of better or worse. It's a question of what are you more comfortable with. Okay. Okay. So I hope that helps. All right. Okay, I think I don't see any more questions. All right. Well, again, thank you for joining me here, and I'll see you guys next time.